Over 2,000 years ago, this man was accused of what he didn't do. And when the judgment was done, the man was killed by crucifixion. Dead before being taken down from the cross, this man is believed to have resurrected 3 days after. And it's been 2,000 years plus, the same people who put this man to death began to celebrate his death and resurrection. This celebration happens once in a year in the months of March and April, and it is called Easter. In this video, we would be looking at 4 things. That's 4 major things. Firstly, what really is Easter? Secondly, what is the pagan history of Easter? Thirdly, what does the Bible say about Easter? And finally, should a Christian celebrate Easter? So before we go into details in this video, I'd love you to go below this video and click on the subscribe button. Do not forget to hit the bell to be the first to get notified whenever we post a new video. I must give you a very candid advice, because you wouldn't want to be distracted at this very point in time. Get yourself a pack of popcorn, get yourself your favorite drink, or whatever it is that will give you a very nice time while you watch this video. Buckle your seatbelt as you're about to hit high altitude right now. Let's go! Easter is a pagan festival celebrating spring in the northern hemisphere, long before the advent of Christianity. It started as a pagan ritual of the onset of spring, with rabbits and colored eggs as its symbol. Before it was Christianized in 325 AD by the Council of Nicaea, different people and different countries dedicated it to the worship of a very famous goddess, jointly believed to be the Queen of Heaven. This goddess is known by many names like Ishtar, Astarte, Venus, Inanna, Semiramis, Ostara, Asherah, Sekhmet, Ishtar, and the Bible revealed one of her names in the book of Genesis to be Ashtoreth. This goddess is the core reason for the Easter celebration, as she is believed by all who worship her to be the goddess of war, fertility, and sex. Myth has it that she was married to the sun god Tammuz or Damuzi. Thus, the connection to sunrise, eggs symbolize fertility, and rabbits symbolizing hermaphrodites, which leads us to her Greek name, Aphrodite. In the Mesopotamian times, there was a man named Nimrod, who was the grandson of Noah's son Ham. Ham had a son named Cush, and Cush married Semiramis. Cush and Semiramis had a son named Nimrod. After Cush died, Nimrod married his mother and became a very powerful emperor and god figure, and was feared and worshipped by the entire world. Semiramis, his mother, became a goddess and queen of ancient Babylon. Nimrod was eventually killed by an enemy, and his body was cut to pieces and sent to various parts of his kingdom. Semiramis later gathered Nimrod's parts, except his reproductive organ. Semiramis claimed that Nimrod could not come to life without it, and told the people that Nimrod had ascended to the sun and is now called Baal, the sun god. Semiramis claimed to have immaculately conceived. She claimed that the moon is her representation, that it goes through a 28-day cycle and ovulates when it's full. She claimed that she came down from the moon in a giant egg that fell into the Euphrates River. This was to have happened at the time of the first full moon after the spring equinox. Semiramis became known as Ishtar, which is pronounced Easter, and her moon eggs became known as Ishtar's egg. Semiramis later claimed that her immaculate conception happened via the rays of the sun god Baal or Nimrod, and the child was called Tammuz. Tammuz was fond of rabbits and became a hunter like Nimrod, his father. Tammuz was later killed by a wild pig, and Semiramis declared a 40 days period of sorrow each year, and no meat was to be eaten this period. Every year on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox, a celebration was made and was called Ishtar's Sunday or Easter's Sunday, and was celebrated with rabbit and eggs, and pigs must be eaten. Many people do not know that the word Ishtar is in the Bible. Also, one of the names of the goddess of Ishtar is mentioned in the book of Genesis chapter 14 verse 5, where a place in Babylon was named after her. But that doesn't seem to tell us much, does it? But what I'm about to show you now will open your eyes to the truth of Ishtar. Now, if people claim that Ishtar was invented to celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, then how come the story of Ishtar in Acts chapter 12 contradicts that claim? Let's see it. Acts chapter 12 verse 1 to 4. Read that quickly as we go on a short break, and when we are back, we'll do some analysis. Now, Herod, a king of Israel, was persecuting the church of Christ and the apostles of Christ during Easter season. He killed Apostle James. The Jews were happy. Then he threw Apostle Peter in prison. All this happened when the Jews were celebrating the Passover and the Romans were preparing to celebrate Easter. Because it says in verse 3 of Acts chapter 12, the unleavened bread feast was on for the Jews, and Israel was a state under Rome. So after the Roman feast of Easter, Peter was to be brought before the people for condemnation. Now pause a bit. If the Passover or Easter was about Jesus back then, why would his disciples be suffering? Why would the world be seeking to kill and exterminate disciples of the same Jesus they are celebrating? Can you see now that Easter was never about Jesus? Herod was part of the people who killed Jesus, and he was honoring Easter because it was a worldwide feast where no harm can come to anyone, not actually because of Christ. So any respect he would have had for Christ should have been given or should have been extended to James and Peter. This is something for you to meditate on. Now we come to the final question of the day. Should a Christian celebrate Easter? I would ask you, after all you've been told in the course of this video, after all you have learned, after all you have discovered in the course of this video, if you are a Christian or you are a God-fearing person, irrespective of the religion that you belong to, what do you think about this? Would you join a pagan people to celebrate their idol and replace the idol with your God and claim that you are celebrating your God? Well, I don't know about other religions, but one thing I know about Christianity, the Bible says God warned in the Bible, God was giving a law that he wouldn't want any Christian to celebrate pagan feasts. He said no one should worship him the way pagans worship their gods. So on this ground, given my own opinion, given my own say, I would tell you that based on what the Bible says, based on what the God of Christians says in the Bible, he wouldn't want any Christian to worship him in a pagan way. God does not like his name to be substituted for an idol and worship the way an idol is worshipped. God has given every Christian pattern and ways of which he wants to be worshipped, and a true Christian should stick to God's pattern and God's way. So I want to hear your views, those of you that still celebrate Easter, those of you that cannot stop celebrating Easter irrespective of any negative thing or whatsoever you hear online. I want you to go to the comment section and tell me why you still celebrate Easter. And those of you that do not, I also want you to tell me, why did you stop, or why have you stopped, or why are you not celebrating Easter? And if you are one who have been celebrating before, and maybe because of this video you've made a decision, I would also want you to tell me your decision in the comment section. And trust me, I do reply comments. So see you some other time. Till we meet again, I remain Ruben Micah, also known as Ruby MC. See you some other time. I love you. God bless you. Ciao.